All right, everybody. What they gonna say now? What they gonna say now? We did it. The Boston Celtics are your 2024 NBA champions. Banner number 18 has officially been secured. This is going to be a fun one, guys. So let's go. Let's keep the celebration rolling. It's green with envy. You know the fucking deal. Let's lock in. What up, what up, what up? Welcome into the post-game championship edition of Green with Envy. This is your boy Will Weir checking in immediately after the Celtics have just wrapped up banner number 18, the most championships across the National Basketball Association in their history. The Boston Celtics are now your 2024 NBA champs. Jaylen Brown is your NBA Finals MVP. Greg, you're my co-host, but more importantly, you're my best friend, man. And I am so freaking excited to share this moment with you and to talk about these Boston Celtics. Let's fucking go.
I don't know how coherent I'm going to be. I drank a shit ton of whiskey tonight to get me through this game. I had so many nerves. I didn't have a sip until the Celtics were up, still up by like 19 at the end of the third quarter, whatever that was.
I didn't pour my first glass until about I think I busted it out about the 9-minute mark. I think there was a timeout because the Celtics started out pretty well in that fourth quarter, and then from there about like 5 minutes. I think it was about 4:50 left. Salud. Cheers, my guy. Cheers.
Cheers, brother. Cheers to everybody who's been with us on this ride. Cheers to everyone who said the Celtics should trade Jaylen Brown, the motherfucking finals MVP. Let's go. They said we should trade Jaylen Brown for Paul George. They said we should trade Jaylen Brown for Kawhi Leonard. They said we should trade Jaylen Brown for Kevin Durant. And look where Jaylen Brown is now. Look where the Boston Celtics are now. I am so freaking happy, dude. My fiance was just looking at me over the past like 20 minutes as I was running around my house, just screaming at the top of my lungs. She was just like,
Yo también, amigo. Yo también.
You love this team more than you love me? And I was like, no. Not more than I love you, but god damn it.
It's just different. Like, I don't know. I think
damn it, do I love the Boston Celtics.
This is a whole other. I mean, honestly, my fiance took our dog and went into the bedroom because my dog was looking at me like I cannot handle whatever energy this is. And I'm gonna be very authentic and very real here. You know, the sting of being up at game 4, it took longer to wear off than I thought. I was definitely excited for this game today, but the build up to it, I was antsy. I was ready for it to start. But I had kind of some mixed feelings getting excited as soon as that ball tipped off and Al finally won the jump ball that he's been trying to time all series. He finally won it. I lost it. I started celebrating on that. Like from that moment on there, you know, I was just hunched over, pacing around, slapping the floor. Like it was on. It was on from that point. And holy shit, man. What a ride. What a ride this has been.
What a freaking ride, baby.
Dude,
what a freaking ride. Shout out Rob version 1, who's been rocking with us on all the YouTube live streams. Rob, really appreciate you. I want to know who your finals MVP was tonight, Rob. Rob says banner 18, baby. Celtics finished the story and won this thing. Let's fucking go. Shout out to Celtics Canada. He says something happened to Jaylen Brown in January. The guy became everything we needed. There's no title without him. I would say that happened in November, Celtics Canada, but
you've been on it. You've been on it. I'll give you your props here, Greg. I mean, Jaylen Brown's always been your guy. Like, I mean, we joked about
That's
this.
My fucking guy.
Every year you would have a moment where you're like, I don't know, man. I think Jaylen Brown might be the best guy. And to be honest, it doesn't fucking matter. But this is absolutely a representation of just how good this guy isn't it. And we'll see here. We'll see what the vote totals were in this, but I imagine, and I was texting you that I'm sure they're going to be very similar to the Eastern Conference Finals.
I thought it was going to be
where it's
Tatum, to be honest
5-4.
with you.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, kind of looking at the numbers where he ended up with 22, 7, and 8 was basically his stat line. There's a chance that it probably should have gone to him, but the real answer is that it's a combination of them two. Lest we forget some of the massive performances that we got from Drew Holiday throughout this series, especially Derek White just being consistent, right? Like he was easily in this series. I think just like from quarter to quarter, you kind of knew what you were getting with Derek White. Drew Holiday, I think Drew Holiday in the first quarter of this game, he was the MVP of that quarter. Yeah. Because quarter started off so shaky, right? And it was Drew Holiday just making play after play. And I think all night, his energy, his ability to crash the offensive board, the little things that he was doing. And I think him and Jalen combined, the way that they just had that dog mentality on defense. Just, oh, you want to switch? Well, we're going to make you try to set that pick 3 fucking times before we ever might give it to you. Right. You're going to have to keep flipping this all day. And that set the tone. So, I mean, there's so many guys that you can talk about, but Jaylen Brown being the finals MVP, man, it's let me ask you this, Greg. As the game was give me either a moment or a player that got you more emotional tonight or the most emotional.
Oh, man. I mean, seeing Tatum soak it all in the post game with Deuce was pretty amazing. Just holding his son, screaming, Daddy. We did it. Yeah, and Deuce, Daddy. Like Deuce is just still like he's like the biggest 6-year-old in America.
I appreciate JT going for like a semi KG moment with the "we did it." We did it. It wasn't quite anything is possible, but I love that he went for it. I love it.
It's just so hard to live up to that moment because he's seen that KG moment 3,000 times in his life.
We're gonna see them clipped together either by the end of the show or tomorrow morning. Like they're gonna be played on a loop back to back.
Right. But I mean, I think like initially seeing Tatum soak it all in because that guy has been dragged through the coals this postseason, and it's just I'm so happy for him. I'm so happy for everybody on the team. I'm gonna start crying right now. But when Jaylen Brown was given the Finals MVP, and to see him just like that moment where he's like, holy shit, like I won it. But then the first thing he does when he gets the microphone is to shout out Jason Tatum and to say, I couldn't have done it without my brother, for all the bullshit that we've heard over the years of people saying that they don't like each other and all that nonsense. It's just so nice to see them have this moment. I said it already. We're 8 minutes into the pod? They said we should trade Jaylen Brown for Paul George. They said we should trade him for Kawhi Leonard. They said we should trade him for Kevin Durant, and he's the motherfucking Finals MVP. I'm so happy for him, man. So happy for Jason Tatum. So happy for everybody that's been on this ride over the last 7 years with this core. It's pretty freaking unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't think you're the only one here. Shout out to our guy Fred in the chat here. My eyes sweated a little bit. I think we were all either there or on the precipice of it. I don't know if I definitely welled up. Like you said, the Tatum moment, the two moments that stood out to me that really got me were the Tatum moment that you already talked about. I think for me, the JB Eastern Conference Finals MVP moment actually hit me a little bit harder just because I was like, damn, like, I don't know, that for some reason that got me a little bit more than the Finals MVP for whatever reason. Maybe because I was actually expecting JB to maybe get this one. But the Al Horford moment, when they brought Al up to speak and just got the Al right there, just fucking, I think for me, Al quickly became one of my favorite players back the original time. And I love that he didn't qualify anything, just said 8 years, Wick. I fucking told you 8 years that he knew that he wanted to come here and get a ring. And, Al being 38 years old, him being the second most second most amount of playoff games ever played without winning an NBA championship, only behind Karl Malone. Like, that was such a cool moment. And Al has, Al's been an all-star with us. Al's been the best player when we had Kyrie and Hayward go down. Al left because we were a mess. Al came back, and Al's played that mentor role. And all while we've asked him to do the things that other teams don't. Al has been the X factor of this team for so long. When you think about, you have to go against Giannis, you have to go against Embiid. We knew if we had to play against Jokic that Horford was going to be a main factor in that series. The fact that you see him even when he gets matched up on an island against Luka Doncic, that he can hold up. He held up better than the defensive player of the year in Rudy Gobert. And Al's fucking 38 years old, man. Like, I just felt so freaking happy for that guy because he just seems like the absolute man. You heard Tatum say it in the post game. He's my favorite teammate of all time. I know there's been stories about them sitting next to each other on the plane and like sharing wisdom, all that type stuff. So I think for me, the moment Al got to the podium, that was the moment that I became a Guy Fred, and my eyes really started to sweat a little bit as he got his moment there.
I didn't actually cry. There was no tears for me. It was just pure joy. Just like, I'm so happy for this team. The Derek White quote, though, I'll lose all my teeth to win a championship, whatever the hell he said. Dude, when they showed Derek White get face planted and basically curb stomped by Derek Lively, holy moly. And then he's got a chipped tooth, and they go to the mic'd up segment, and JP's just like, God damn, you're ugly.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that was so great. But yo, I want to shout out my brother who FaceTimed me before the game. He went to the game tonight. He was there for game 6 in 2008. He was there tonight.
Was he really?
Yeah, man. I'm so
hell yeah. Good for him.
Shout out to Charles Manakis. Shout out to the Modern Dog Boston. If you have a dog in the Dorchester, Quincy area, my brother's
go bring him over to Deuce Manakis.
He's got a great shop called the Modern Dog Boston in Marina Bay. Go there if you need your dog walked, you need your dog washed, you need your dog watched, whatever it is. Shout out to Charles, my big bro. The reason why my Twitter handle is @MiniMinnow is because my brother's nickname in high school was Minnow. So when I was the sophomore on the varsity team, my brother was the senior captain. I was Mini Minnow. That's the origin of Mini Minnow. Fucking love you, bro. This is amazing.
Oh my God. Shout out to our guy John here. Let's go. Banner 8.
TSA John, baby. TSA John in the house.
Cheers to you, TSA John. Oh man. I mean, honestly, like there's just so many, not even moments in this game or series. It's just thinking about everything that this team has been through. I'm looking here. I'm like kind of half scrolling through Twitter as we're talking here. It's so crazy that, you just mentioned your brother being in the building for the 08 championship. Once again, June 17th. Apparently, that's just the date the Celtics win championships is June 17th, 617. It's all just meant to be. But it's crazy that there's such a direct connection from this team to that 2008 team, where the reasons that we have Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are the Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce trade to the Nets. Just to recap, KG, Paul Pierce, Jason Terry, and let's not forget DJ White go to the Brooklyn Nets for 5 players and 3 first-round picks and a pick swap. Of course, 2016 pick becomes Jaylen Brown. 2017, we win the lottery. We flip that, what would have been, Markelle Fultz, or what became Markelle Fultz, for Jason Tatum. And now you have Finals MVP Jaylen Brown, NBA champion Jason Tatum, and all the other moves. And honestly, I think at some point we'll have to just do a deep dive into how shout out to the mastermind, mega mind, Brad Stevens, the man behind the
curtain. Trying, baby.
Right, dude. We had shout out to our girl, Smart Water, dude. She made that for us way back in the day when we first started podcasting, right? We had the Get Rich or Die Trying with Brad Stevens. Dude, he's just a mastermind of this. All of these different moves that, and some of it's opportunity, but you create your own opportunities, right? And Brad was continually setting this team up for success, whether it's the Derek White trade, whether it's, going back and getting Al Horford again, whether it's, as soon as Drew gets moved, pouncing on that opportunity, not being afraid to make some of those bigger moves. And, hey, shout out to Marcus Smart, who's a big part of building what happened tonight. It sucks that he wasn't on the team for it, but neither was Nomar, right? Neither was Nomar. And that I think that's like a pretty strong sports cross correlation, right? of a move that
Shout out to
no
Orlando
fans
Cabrera.
wanted to make, but you had to make it, right? And so, Drew Holiday is the Orlando Cabrera of this team, right? I don't know if that's going too far into the analogy
Shout
here,
out to
but I do
Pokey
think
Reese.
right, man. And so it's just wild, all the things that have to culminate to make this happen. And then KP, man, I thought it looked a little rough the first couple possessions he got out there defensively, but at the end of the day, I think him being out there, the emotional lift, and you saw offensively, he did make the Mavericks think. And shit, Josh Green and some of those guys taking those shots, credit them for making them. But that's the only reason the Mavs were even remotely in this game, was because we were daring them to take those shots. And yeah, they made them, but it's not what they wanted to do, right? And Luka and Kyrie never got going. So yeah, KP being here, you raise the ceiling and now you raise a banner. That's how it goes. Shout out to Brad Stevens.
God, shout out to Brad Stevens. Shout out to fucking Doug Minkiewicz. Shout out to Bill Miller. Shout out to Gabe Kapler. Shout out to Kevin Millar. Shout out to everybody, dude. Shout out to Scott Williamson, dude. Remember Scott Williamson's curveball?
Yeah.
Scott Williamson's curveball was freaking nasty.
Digging deep into the archives.
Curtis Laskanik, Byung Hung Kim, Keith Folk, everybody, dude. Everybody
By the
was
way,
on
Greg,
that 2004 team. Shout out to this 2024 Boston Celtics team. Let me cook, Will. Let me cook.
You were cooking, man. I'll be honest. I was actually impressed with some of the Curtis Laskanik pull. That was a hell of a pull. That was a deep one in your bag. But something I actually totally forgot about, that they were filming a documentary this whole time. So everything that we're talking about right now,
I can't wait.
We're gonna get a Last Dance style behind the scenes look. And I know DVDs aren't a thing anymore, but wherever this is streaming, I'm pretty sure that you, me, anyone that's in this chat, most people that listen to our podcast, that is going to become, when they look at the areas of like where this is being streamed, it is going to be on repeat across all of our households. Your soon to be firstborn child will grow up. Basically, that's going to be equivalent with Bluey or whatever else the fuck kids are watching these days. That's going to be the equivalent of they're going to be on par as far as being on in your household. And I can't wait for it because I'll be right there watching.
Bro, I got to be careful with all these like chest bumps that I'm doing. Like I got to get it a little lower, like the Mark Wahlberg fear, Mark Wahlberg fear spot on my chest.
Yeah.
Two more shout outs. Shout out to Mike Timlin. Shout out to Alan Embry.
Hey, speaking of Mike Gorman, just go win it. To our
shout out to Tommy Heinsohn legend. Shout out to Bob Cousy.
Did you see the Tommy shirt that that
Bill
Mike had
Walton?
On? Dude, Mike had a fire Tommy shirt on today. So
really?
he was ready for it today, man. Yeah, dude. I'm excited because now we basically have a summer of talking about where this team fits into Celtics history. And it's going to be a great time.
It's so good. It's just so good that like we can talk about the Boston, like the Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown era is now a championship era, dude. Like it just justifies everything that's happened over the last 8 years. Like the Kyrie Irving era. Kyrie handled this series with class. I thought the Boston fans did a great job keeping it classy. It was just Kyrie sucks, none of the bullshit, just like pure sports.
And Kyrie sucks is totally in play. That's all sports fun.
Thought they did a great job. Let me tell you something. How do you feel about Luka after the series, man? I feel like he's officially Luka Donkey until he wins the championship. Dude, he's the
new Jalen and Jason. He's single-handedly the new Jalen and Jason, right? The guy that now has the microscope on him. Like, is he going to get it done? Is he going to get in shape? Is he going to play defense? He's got all those questions to answer now.
He has to get in shape. In Dallas, I was having such a good time, even though Game 4 sucked. As I was walking to the arena with Danielle, there's like, I don't know if it was like helicopter traffic cams or whatever, but they were like flying around the city. And I was just like talking shit to Mavs fans as I'm walking in the arena. I'm like, oh, they're looking for Luka's jump shot. Like, where is it? Where is it? And Luka couldn't hit the broadside of a bond tonight. Shout out to Tommy Heinsohn. Luka could not hit anything. Jaylen Brown locked his ass up. Luka still finished with 28 points, almost a triple-double,
Oh
but he
my God. How
played like
much,
ass,
real
dude.
quick,
Luka
how
played
much did
like
you
ass tonight.
how much did you love the sound bites from Jalen where they were like, if he's not going to bring it up, I'm not letting him get it back. If he's going to have to bring it up if he wants the ball, otherwise I'm not letting him get it back. I feel like
Were the
all of those
MVP
Jalen clips.
voters in the building, Will? Were they in the building or were they watching at home? Because I feel like if they were at home, that would have swung the vote because of the mic'd up segments.
That's very true because they were awesome, right? That was awesome sound bites that we were getting. It looks like right now, as we're recording, Celtics are starting to celebrate inside the locker room. Seeing a few clips start to come out. We got a Celtics championship belt that is making the rounds. But I mean, I think after Game 4, the way that Drew and Jalen, once again, I feel like I've said this a couple times. When the defense is locked in, it starts with Drew and Jalen just saying, we're taking away your best players and we're just going to make their life hell. And that's exactly what the two of them did. And I think that's a big reason why Jalen won this MVP was a little bit of the Andre Iguodala of the, whatever it was, 2015 finals or 14, I think it was 2015 finals. But he obviously had a much bigger offensive output to go along with it. So I think that's part of what generated him the finals MVP. But like you said, man, Luka shot 24% from the 3-point line. And honestly, it should have been a lot less. He got a couple late ones, right?
Yeah.
Like it was those couple late ones that saved it from being maybe sub 20. But on average, he was 2 of 9 in every game, made 2.2 per game, shot 9 per game. I mean, the Celtics did just about as good of a job as anyone I think was equipped to. And this is a big reason why we chose the Celtics to win, or why we're not surprised tonight, right? Is because the Celtics match up better with both Kyrie and Luka than any other team that you could think of out there. And they don't have that third option to go to. That's going to make us have to rethink twice. And
So,
this is
Will,
how you end up with a 5-game series.
You're potting with Michael Pina tomorrow?
That it's coming later this week. We'll talk about that after.
Okay. No worries. I'm trying to figure out how much of the game we should actually get into right now. So I didn't know if you were gonna have a conversation.
Yeah, we can get in. Let's talk about it. This is what we're here for.
I'm just saying I don't know how much I'm gonna actually remember. But I mean, early in the game, obviously Drew was the man, right? Without Drew Holiday, that first quarter might go to shit for the Celtics. But the biggest thing for the Celtics, when KP comes in at the 7-minute mark, roughly, shout out Jacob, other Jacob. You did called it in 5, baby. Shout out for the tip. Appreciate you, my guy. KP comes in. The Mavs can score, right? They score basically half their points in putting KP into pick and roll. They get 2 threes out of Josh Green. They get another 3. I think it was out of PJ. No, it couldn't have been out of PJ. He didn't have one.
It was out of Dante.
Dante Exum. That's right. Dante Exum. That's right. But then the Celtics at the end of the first quarter go on a big run where it's like a 3-point game. They end up going up by double digits at the end of the first quarter. And it was the Jays, man. It was the Jays really putting their footprint down. Jason Tatum picking PJ Washington's pocket at half court, leading to an open layup. All these moments, Drew Holiday carried us in that first quarter, but the Jays were really the two guys that throughout the game set the tone. They did everything you wanted out of them. Tatum didn't really have it going from 3. What did Tatum end up shooting? 1 for 7 from 3.
Yeah.
But it didn't matter, man. He was 8 for 8 from the line. He enforced his will. He had 8 assists at halftime, 11 assists on the game. He was unbelievable. I thought he was, they both played 45 minutes or 44 minutes tonight. They were the two most impactful players on the court. Once again, in a game that featured Luka Doncic, who most people consider the second best player in all of basketball.
Yeah.
And they both outplayed Luka. And I think for the majority of the series, they both outplayed Luka.
Yeah, and there's no other way that this should go down than the Jays having a special night. So you get a 31 point, 8 rebound, 11 assists, 2 steal performance from Tatum. And then you get a 21 point, 8 rebound, 6 assists, 2 steal performance from Jaylen Brown. Of course, we talked a lot about Jaylen Brown's defense, and it was just the perfect way for this championship to culminate itself is with the Jays being the guys that, as you said, however you want to slice it, the most impactful guys on the court tonight were Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Anytime the Celtics needed a big run, it was the Jays that got it done. Didn't mean to rhyme like Al Sharpton right there, but that was pretty cool. I like how that worked out. But they were the ones that made the plays, and I think it was, heading into the end of the second quarter, and we'll talk about our guy Peyton Pritchard. All he does is hit buzzer beaters. All he does
played 3
is hit buzzer
seconds
beaters
tonight, Will.
Unbelievable stuff from Peyton Pritchard. But leading up to that, right, it was like, all right, this is a big 4 minutes here. If the Celtics can close this out here, we're going to be really sitting pretty. And it was the Jays had a couple, connections between each other. Jaylen Brown made a couple shots driving to the rim. They were making everything difficult for the Mavericks on defense. And then Peyton Pritchard checks in with 4 seconds left. And man,
what a moment.
I can't imagine how insane the Garden was after Peyton Pritchard hit that shot. Like, holy shit, was that man made to hit buzzer beaters? Good.
My brother texted me, dude. So my brother's at the game, as I said, and he texted me. He said during because Luka got fouled right before that. The only reason Peyton Pritchard was able to come into games because Luka had gotten fouled.
And that dude can't hit fucking free throws.
Can't hit free throws. And he was like, dude, we were all talking like, put Pritchard in the game. Put Pritchard in the game. Luka misses the free throw. Al Horford gets the rebound, finds Pritchard, 2 dribbles to half court, money from half court. And he just goes, he was just like laughing at that point.
He knew he was going to do it. Did you see his, like when they did the slow-mo reaction, he was looking at Tatum just like, this is what I do. Like,
this is what I do.
Tatum came in to give him like the chest bump and go nuts. And like Pritchard eventually like matched it, but he was like very calm, just like, what did you expect? What did you expect to happen? I'm in the game. There's 4 seconds left. Give me the rock. Give me the rock. I'm gonna make that shot. And it's really impressive how many times he's made buzzer beaters this year. And we started saying this before the regular season ended, right? Like, hey, anytime that there's an end of clock situation and you're gonna need a heave or a long three, Peyton Pritchard has to be on the court. And once again, I love when we say things that we then see in Game 5 of the NBA Finals, where we talked about in the last episode. I don't really think it was a Peyton Pritchard series unless there's a chance for him to get a last-second shot off, and that's exactly what we saw today. So that makes me feel good that it's like, hey, we know a little bit about what we're talking about. We're seeing the same things. Yeah, Peyton Pritchard probably shouldn't play in this game. Let's bring KP back, get some height out there, but 4 seconds left. Who are you going to call? Peyton Pritchard. Check yourself in. Let's go. Knock down the shot. And going from just 18 to 21, especially off of those Luka missed free throws where it could have been, down to 17, 16. I can't remember if he missed both of those or just the second one, but could have been, at the very least 17. And now all of a sudden it's a 21-point game. Like, that's a huge swing from that missed free throw to the Peyton Pritchard knockdown. And like we said, it all started with the Jays. So it was honestly, Greg, it was, even though there was some tired legs for sure, because there was a lot of bricks out there. It was a pretty perfect night in the sense that the Jays were the best guys. Derek White and Drew Holiday. I mean, let me see. Between the two of them, they had 8 offensive rebounds. How many extra possessions did the Celtics get just from Drew Holiday and Derek White?
We were first to the ball, first to the floor all night.
First to the floor. Shout out to our guys, first to the floor. Yeah, that got dropped several times tonight on the broadcast. I was happy for them. Hopefully they clip that and add that to the intro. But 8 offensive rebounds combined for Derek White and Drew Holiday, 2 more for Al Horford. Shout out to Al at 9 boards after kind of being, ridiculed for not really being, Derek Lively was kind of beasting him on the boards over the last 5-6 quarters. But 8 offensive rebounds from your 2 guards. Dude, how crazy is it that our 2 guards have 19 rebounds between them in this game?
That's nuts.
Right?
Will, I have a clip for you real quick. You ready?
Let's go. Let's see it.
4 seconds to go. Missed free throw. Horford the rebound. Here's Pritchard. He loves these. Puts it up half court of the buzzer. Bang! Pritchard at the buzzer with a 3-pointer. He's done it again.
Mike Breen locked into the moment. Mike Breen was locked into the moment. Oh my God. Pritchard Just, I mean, that could that was like a freaking like simulation. That was like
Right.
a simulation there. Al
Was,
Horford.
was, was that 2K or was that real? Right? Like it
Oh,
didn't even feel real.
Will, I got a clip for you.
4 seconds to go. Missed free throw. Horford the rebound. Here's Pritchard. He loves these. Puts it up half court of the buzzer. Bang! Pritchard at the buzzer with a three-pointer. He's done it again.
That's like some Mighty Ducks 2 shit, man. Like Mike Breen's call on that. Wow, that was amazing. Yeah, shout out to Peyton Pritchard, because aside from garbage time, that was his one shot. He was in the game for 4 seconds, gets that shot off, and it was a huge shot to put the Celtics back up by 21 going into halftime. Shout out to Pritchard, man. This is a guy whose minutes in game 5 were completely reduced to this specific moment. And he decided in this moment, he wasn't going to complain. He wasn't going to bitch. He wasn't going to moan. He was going to come in and do his freaking job. Bill Belichick is happy somewhere. And he just did it, man.
In your role, when your role is 4 seconds and that's all you get.
That's insane to hit that shot.
In your role. Cold. You couldn't be colder. That's the only moment that you came in to play is 4 seconds left in the first half, and you knocked that down. Just incredible stuff. Banana stuff. You know what? While we're talking about white boys, Sam Hauser, man. Sam was
hooping.
Sam was great. And here's the thing. Sam made 2 threes tonight. Those were probably the least impressive parts of his night. I think, how many rebounds did he end up with? He ended up with 4 rebounds, but I think there were some that were just like tips that kept plays alive, which I think not even all of that's represented in the stat in the box score. The way that he held up defensively, again, either stopping
17 minutes in a closeout game. Well,
hey, one of my hills I said I'd die on this year. Sam Hauser's a rotation player for this team.
You called that.
Held up true. Sam earned his stripes big time in this game. And then, I mean, honestly, shit, we weren't scoring anything in that third quarter. How about Sam with a little midi runner? How about that? How about that for Sam Hauser, the guy who never shoots 2-point shots? Little midi runner in game 5 of the NBA Finals when nothing, absolutely nothing is falling for anybody. Sam Hauser gets a shot to go. I was so happy to see Sam out there because, I mean, dude, he was an unsigned free agent, right? Unsigned rookie free agent that built his way up from the G League. And so it all comes back once again. Mega Mind Brad Stevens. Just another massive victory for Brad Stevens to be able to find a guy like Sam Hauser, develop him, and then you see now that he gets 17 minutes in a closeout game for you off the bench, making like $1.5 million or $2 million, whatever he's making.
So good in this game.
Unbelievable performance for him.
Speaking of white boys, shout out to Kristaps.
Yeah,
shout out to Kristaps, giving us 16 minutes of action tonight. He had that one big dunk off the JB drive on Luka. But I think just his presence, there were a couple moments where Luka got into the paint, where Kyrie got into the paint, and they had to think twice. And that was the biggest thing with this team, was without Kristaps Porzingis, and you had to go to Xavier Tillman, who during the national anthem was standing directly next to O'Shea Brissett, and you realize that Tillman is shorter than O'Shea Brissett. And you're just like, God damn, like, our backup center 6'6", like that's probably not going to get it done. And then you go to 7-3, and Porzingis's presence in that game, despite them having, Dante Exum and Josh Green 3-pointers because he was just sitting and dropped by the basket. What really matters is Luka Doncic going to get a rhythm? Is Kyrie Irving going to get a rhythm? And they did not get a rhythm. A lot of it because, I mean, dude, we were at game 4. Luka lived in the paint and in the mid-range. It's because we didn't have any size or length by the rim. Porzingis completely changes that equation. And I think that his presence tonight, although he was a +8 on the night, there were times where it felt like he was a minus on the court. I think his presence was just like, it was so important for this team just to have another big body. This is why I was saying if Porzingis shouldn't play, it should at least be Cornette, just to have another big guy out there. You know what I mean? And Porzingis was awesome. Shout out to him for being willing to die out there.
Shout out to Joe Mazzulla for sticking with it, right? Because they did hit those threes right away when he came in. And, in the first couple possessions, it felt like they were trying to do it. I think I texted in one of our group chats. It reminded me a little bit of the scram switches that we would do on the backside with Isaiah Thomas, just to make sure he didn't get caught up. And, you tried to give him his whatever best matchup as possible. We were kind of doing that a little bit with KP, trying to keep him just on whoever's, in the corner. And eventually they were getting him into some action, and they made a couple shots. But shout out to Joe Mazzulla. All throughout these playoffs, and especially in this series, he stuck to the game plans that he believed in. And for the most part, with him changing a little bit of his rigidity, I think I'm saying that right, from when he first took over as head coach until now, he's really stuck to like kind of a lot of his core beliefs about how the game should be played. And we saw him sticking to his guns play out in this series and believing in the way this team was set up and the way that they should play against the Mavericks. And save for, the obviously whatever happened in game 4, it bore plenty of fruit, as this team just was clearly the better team for 4 out of the 5 games, leaving just absolutely no doubt that they are the best team in the NBA, and finishing up 16-3, man. 16-3. I know all the caveats. Fuck them. Like, that's a hell of a run. 16-3 is a hell of a run to go 4-1, 4-1, 4-0, and then 4-1. That's teams don't do that, man. Teams do not do that. And that's a shout out to where this team, and we'll take a few days to reflect. It sounds like looks like I'm looking here on Twitter. Celtics are heading to Miami to go celebrate. That's their plan. Noon flight to Miami tomorrow. Coming back, looks like parade will be on Friday. So you'll get some sun-kissed Celtics coming back to Boston on Friday for the parade. But it's well-deserved, well-earned. Hell of a fucking season, man. Hell of a
season, dude. So the parade is when?
Looks like it's going to be Friday. Celtics are going to fly to Miami tomorrow to go do some celebrating for a few days, and then come back on Friday for a celebration, for a parade.
How do you think they decided on Miami?
I don't know. Maybe
who's got the hookup in Miami?
Exercise the Heat demons. I mean, it's
I kind of like that, dude. I kind of like that. Exercise the Heat demons. I like that a lot.
Go party in their backyard. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm assuming it's NBA players. If you can fly wherever, usually they're going to Vegas or Miami is like almost the choice every time as to kind of where they're going. So man, if you're in Miami, go see if you can find where the Celtics are going to be at. I'm sure it is going to be one hell of a time. Man, I'm just like kind of like scrolling right now, watching some videos that are coming out of the locker room of people celebrating, and man, God, this team was special, man. This team was really fun to cover. I feel like at times last year, maybe like this team got kind of frustrating to cover, and it was it wasn't quite the same level of enjoyment that this team has been. This has been a team that it sucks that all the East was so injured, because I feel like that's going to partially, take down their legacy a little bit. But at the end of the day, this team was a fucking juggernaut. Like they could have competed and beat anybody. I think we said all year long, the one team that we were really worried about was the Denver Nuggets. I still think they would beat everybody else in the NBA. And even the Nuggets, I never thought that it was automatically a white flag. Yeah, we just can't ever beat the Nuggets. I just thought that was a toss-up series. That's really the way I looked at it, even though they got us twice in the regular season. And so I think this team, I hopefully will be respected as the champions that they are, because the top 6 that they throw out there, when you historically look at that, specifically that top 6, that's a crazy fucking top 6 to throw out there. From the Jays to Kristaps to Derek White to Drew Holiday and Al Horford, even at his older age, to doing all the things I talked about earlier, being the main guy to defend the Giannis's, the Embiids, the Jokic's, the Anthony Davis's of the world, and being able to do that and still go out and cover a guy like Luka or a guy like Kyrie and contest a shot or get a block shot. Like, that's an insane top 6 to run through, and this team has just been so much fun to cover.
This is a squad. This is an absolute squad, man. Drew Holiday, Derek White, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Kristaps Porzingis, and Al Horford.
Drew Holiday might be your 5th best player.
Drew Holiday was freaking unbelievable in these.
He was
finals,
unreal.
man.
He was definitely not the fifth best
so
player these
good.
last 2 rounds. Let's couple them together. These last 2 rounds, he's probably been the third best player on this Celtics team. But in the aggregate of the whole season, he's probably your 5th best player. That's fucking insane. Insane.
He was special.
Jalen Brunson was just on a podcast today talking about how there's no way that Drew Holiday should not have ever should have. It's amazing that he hasn't won a Defensive Player of the Year. He's easily the best defender in the league. Jalen Brunson was saying Jalen Brunson's been killing the league for the last 2 years, making all types of craziness happen. He's telling you Drew Holiday is the best defender in the league, and he might be the team's 5th best player. 5th best. That's wild.
Dude, Drew is so good in these finals. He was so good since game 2 of the Cavs series. Game 2 of the Cavs series,
something like that.
When he really picked it up.
He's been awesome these last 10, 12 games. Basically, for the most part, basically since KP went out. Drew has really stepped up. And let me see, I'm trying to see his final stat line here in the finals. He finished with 14.5 points with 3.8 assists. He had, let's see here, 7.4 rebounds per game while shooting 42% from 3, 54% from the field.
My brother just sent me a video that I haven't watched it yet. I just want to show it because he was in the game today.
Sights and sounds directly from the Boston Garden tonight. Damn, I'm jealous as hell that he was there, man. I gotta be real. I'm happy for him that he's there, but I can't lie. I'm jealous that he was there.
We went to the worst game in NBA Finals history.
Will. I know. It is what it is, man. Shout out to our guy Remy who was out there with us. He was back in the building tonight, so he doubled down, made the trip back to Boston for the game tonight. I'm glad that it worked out for him. Man, what a special night. What a special team. I'm probably going to stay up the next 2 hours just scrolling and watching everything. I don't know that I have much else to add here on this podcast, Greg. Do you have anything else you want to cover here? I know we're going to get into all the
I've just yelled into the microphone for the past 45 minutes, Will. I don't think I think I've actually said anything. Just so happy for the Celtics. So happy for all of our listeners. Bro, you're my best friend. You've been my best friend since we were 2 years old. 35 now. Brother, I love you. I love the Celtics. Too, I love everybody that rocks with us. I love everybody that's part of Celtics Nation. Let's fucking go, Banner 18, baby. Oh, Black Optimus releasing a song June 20th called Feels Like Summer. That's been the outro music. The song releases June 20th, the first day of summer. Please support the band, everybody. Come on, God damn it. Support the band.
Oh man, what a pivot. Love everybody. Love you guys. Hold on, I got some promo. I gotta get in here. Hold on 1 second. Oh man, love you too, brother. That's awesome. What a fucking season. What a night. It's not over, guys. We're gonna have a lot more conversation around this. As Greg mentioned, we're working on getting Michael Pina here in the next couple days from the Ringer, so we'll have him on here shortly, and we'll have some other fun podcasts that we got coming for you. But everybody, enjoy yourselves. Hopefully you've enjoyed rocking with us this season. We've enjoyed each and every one of you. When one of you reaches out, and this is some real talk for a second, when any of you reach out to us, I don't think you really know how much that means to us to know that when we speak into these mics and you know, we're recording at 11:15 at night on a Monday night, that people actually give a shit what we say, and that they want to hear and listen and come back and hang out with us. Like, those individual voices, you stand out and mean so much to us from what we're putting out there and what you guys are giving back to us, that we just want to keep doing it. And of course, you know, Greg, like you said, you're my best friend. Love you, brother. This was a hell of a season. We've been doing this now for what was our fourth season, covering 3.5, because we started in the bubble. The 3.5.
I think it'd be 4.
Before, yeah, because I know the season happened so quickly that it all kind of runs together. So 4+ seasons doing this, man, and now we can say officially we've covered the NBA champion Boston Celtics. No other way to do it. Let's send you out of here, Black Sheep Optimus. Make sure you guys get with it. We'll be back and we'll talk more about this glorious, glorious season. The Boston Celtics are your 2024 NBA champs.
Woo!
Banner 18 is secured. What they gonna say now? Peace.
It feels like summer, baby.
Oh mama, feel like summer. New season got me seeing new colors. So fly, the sky will kiss you. Lips so smooth, I miss your issues. Oh mama, feel like summer. New season got me seeing new colors. Oh my, I'm slipping into white lies and time to miss you.
Now you're 3 shots deep that you chase with the Croy. You're looking at me while you're making that noise. I've been trying to stay clean, but you gave me no choice. You make